No, this is a surprise for me this time, though I've been coming here for almost when it started, the World Education Congress, for the last 15 years. But World HRD Congress, I've been coming here for 25 years now. But every time I come to World Education Congress, Raju says, you come and you give a talk. But what is the topic, what is the theme, he never tells me. This time he told me, I'm glad he told me because I know very little about that. So I had to talk to many people to find out what does it actually mean and what does it actually do. The first time I ever heard of AI was about 25 years ago when my husband was doing some research on neural mapping, he was mapping the brain. And so he was telling me that, look, he explained to me all the complex things which I could not understand at that point of time, but I listened. And then he says there is one tool which is very much going to be coming, which is the artificial intelligence. And I said, what will that do? He says, that will do magic. Everybody will think it is magic, but one has to be afraid of it because magic sometimes can take you to places where you don't know. Now, because and now today when I had to give this talk on education, new paradigms and the AI, I had to talk to a friend who had done some work, Ritu Kochar from Delhi. So I called her up and I said, Ritu, tell me what does this mean? So we had a very long conversation. Then finally, after hours and hours, I could kind of figure out what it could be. So I put up something together, which I'm going to present to you. I was talking to my Guruji from whom I listened to Gita sessions. And I said, now, what does AI and what does... So he said, he gave me an explanation which makes a lot of sense. So I will begin with that. He says, artificial intelligence is finally a tool created by human beings to do magical things, which no human being alone could do it in 10, 20, 50, 100 years. But this tool will do it in 5 minutes. But he said the difficulty is people give so much meaning to AI, but the AI does not have an Atma. It does not have Pran. That is only given by the gods. Human beings cannot give AI Atma and Pran, and therefore it does not have sympathy, it does not have empathy, it does not have sensitivity, it does not have understanding. It can do many things, but it cannot hold a child's hand and stop the child crying. It cannot hold an adult who is in sorrow and give the sympathy and empathy. So he said that is the major difference between AI technology and human beings, which can never be replicated, which can never be the same. It has to be always be different. Now, when I look back, we were talking about education. It took me 18 years after matriculation, after high school, to finish my undergraduate, my graduate work, and my PhD. And that is all because of the teachers and the people I met at the right time who said the right thing, which made a lot of sense. Even in America, the education was expensive when I went there. That was in 1961, after marriage. And my husband's dean, physics dean, said, what do you want to do? I said, study. Because I just thought a PhD cannot have a high school graduate wife. She should be at least a BA. So that was my aim at that point of time. So the dean looked at me and then looked at my husband and said, do you have tuition waiver? My husband said no. After a week, he called my husband and said, you have tuition waiver, your fees goes to educate her. So I said, there is a time which comes in a life of somebody where there is that one moment which changes everything. Now, because that moment came for me and I got that tuition, so I started studying. And I liked anyway, I had liked the studies from the beginning. So I studied in Chicago, then I went to Denmark. Denmark education was free, so I studied there. I came back to India and went 1 year running after from pillar to post to get admission in some college to continue my education, but I couldn't get it. They said, no, it's not possible, rules, this colonial mindset who had set no to any growth of anybody, did not let me do that. So we went back to America, and there I did my undergraduate and my graduate work. We came back, and then I did my PhD here in management while I was teaching at IIM. And so therefore I am here. So there are lots and lots of people who have contributed to the education and the journey which I have taken over the last 60 years to be here making this presentation. So what I will do is, there's one thing which I wrote down, which says what AI does. Then I will give you the definition of AI, which I have come up with. Artificial intelligence is playing an extremely important role in the rest of the education and training across levels, from schools and universities to corporate learnings environments, enhancing teaching and learning experiences, personalized education, and improve, I think I can't see properly, of efficiency. Now, what it means is that the AI does so many things which human beings can't do at a short period of time. For example, if we take the education, it will be, it can deal with preparing curriculum, scheduling, especially now when people are teaching lots of courses, electives and otherwise. It's very difficult to, when I started in Flame, we had 240 plus courses running at the same time, undergraduate and graduate, and communication school as well as performing arts. It was so difficult to put it together so that there is no clash of classes, there is no overlaps, and people can attend classes which they want, especially the electives ones. And if we had known AI at that time, it can do it very easily of scheduling classes. And of course, grading. Grading becomes very, very difficult. Now, I knew the first time the computers did it in America. There were few thousand students in undergraduate program and about few hundred people in certain courses. What you did was you just picked out the questions you wanted to. They sent you a list of questions, university, and you marked it. And with the help of the computers, they could mix the questions and give it to the students so there would be no copying. And then they would equally grade it in no time because the computer had all the information. So from the computer, we have moved to AI, which is far more efficient and far more faster than any other human beings can do. It also helps to identify each student, where each student is, where is his gaps in studying, what he cannot study, what he needs to be taught to him, how it needs to be taught to him. So what it does is it takes away all the time of the teachers to go personalize. And this emphasis on personalization helps the students quite a bit. Because if the student has to ask the teacher 10 times, teacher, what does this mean? The same question, the teacher would get irritated. Now, AI never gets irritated. AI never gets angry. He keeps answering and answering and answering, even if it is 100 times. So that makes a lot of sense to the students who don't know, especially maths and other subjects, can keep on learning easily without fear, without expecting a reversal of anger, and the AI can keep answering the question. So to that extent, personalized education or personalized help to a student becomes very easy. It also identifies the problems in terms of when you are preparing for a course, where is the repetition, where is this, so that AI can help in making the teacher's time take away half the time, 30% to 60% of the time, to do better things, design new courses, design new ways of teaching, understand students, rather than doing repetitive work of reading each question and reading each answer and trying to correct it. So the AI helps in education to that extent. You know, especially if you look at medicine, the AI can do amazing things for the patient in terms of medicine, in terms of what food to take, how much to take, what not to take. And if by chance the kitchen makes a mistake and gives you something which you are not supposed to eat, the AI will cut it out. They will say not to be given, not to be fed, not to be distributed, not to do this, not to do this. I remember when I had a stroke and I was in the hospital and I wanted to eat something. He says, computer is saying no. You can't eat that. It's not the doctor who said no, it's the computer who said no. You cannot eat this. And they did not give it to me. And so it is amazing the kind of interventions it makes in the various aspects of life, and more so for education. See, also it does how to, what kind of examples, what kind of pedagogy needs to be brought for that particular kind of course. You need to have an experience based, you have to have a knowledge based, or you have to have experiential based, or you need to have self-reflective based for the students. That they tell the teacher. See, in the organization, it helps to skill, reskill, and upskill, and identify which people need reskilling, which people need upskilling, and which people need upgrading their skills. So all this takes away again the effort and the time and the energy, and somehow the people who get this feedback, they don't really object because it is done on a very impartial, no emotions involved. AI does not have any emotions, so there are no emotions involved. So it is seen to be correct. So it is accepted also very easily. Now, as we look to the future, what is going to be the future of education? As many people have already said, are we teaching now students for occupation which have not even become alive, which are not even available right now in the formation stage? But occupations are going to change, educations have to change. So university will have to start looking at what kind of education and what kind of courses and what kind of behavior patterns we need to teach the students for the kind of occupation which are yet to come. Now, this is very important because, see, for example, when the computers came and the IT industry, I don't think the universities were ready with IT and the computer courses. Gradually, they caught up. And India, for example, is very much the brain behind IT and this AI. Because right now in the Kumbh Mela, the kind of management it was done was with the help of AI. The kind of Operation Sindoor happened, it was with the help of AI. So now all these are going to become the skills of tomorrow, and these are going to be the how will the universities prepare themselves for what kind of courses which are going to be required? Because those courses will free the teachers their repetitive and monotonous routine work, and they have to really, teachers will have to upgrade themselves and relearn what is going to come tomorrow. So it is very difficult for the universities to, and I have seen that teachers are the most difficult people to change. I had gone to a program called Faculty Development Program in a university and was helping them self-reflect. Okay, look, where are you with your own thinking and in terms of upgrading yourself and preparing yourself for new things? 3 hours later, they said, we don't want this course. We don't want to look at ourselves. We don't want to learn that we have to look where, what do we have to do. And they went and talked to the principal. The principal came and said, they don't like this course. I said, fine, then we'll close the course. If they do not want to take a look at where they are with themselves as teachers, what are they going to teach the students? But, so I closed the course and I left, but I was quite troubled and said, if the teachers are unwilling, how are they going to help the students learn what they don't want to learn? And students don't want to learn obsolete things. They don't want to learn outdated things. They don't want to learn yesterday's things. They want to learn tomorrow's things. They want to learn day after tomorrow's things. So if teachers are unwilling, how are we going to help the students get into knowledge which is so new and which requires a different pedagogy, it requires a different methodology, it requires different kind of grading, it requires different kind of assessment. How are they going to learn if the teachers don't learn? So my concern is that teachers, if they have to grow into gurus, they have to learn and unlearn many of the things which the British have taught and which is outdated, obsolete, and irrelevant. Now, students today are not interested in learning the dates of who was born when and who was born where and what did he do. All they are interested, who were the heroes, who fought the great battles, and who won. That's what students are interested. But we seem to go on and on with education or knowledge which is outdated, irrelevant to the young generation. And if the teachers are unwilling to take a look at themselves, where are we going to go? So in this experience about this happened 3 months back, I was so perturbed and I was so sad. I said, if teachers are not going to learn, how are my students, young people, our young generation going to learn when they don't want to learn something which is obsolete and irrelevant? So AI may do a lot of magic, but it cannot change the attitude and the behavior of students or the teachers or the universities who are not willing to give up something which they have gone on, which they've settled down in a comfort zone and gone to sleep. They have really gone to sleep because it is so comfortable, because they can get up from their sleep and start rattling off what they have taught for 20 years. Now that is one of going to be the big challenges of how to develop faculty to come up to learn and relearn and learn such new things which they have never done before. So my basic concern that AI is good, it does magic, it takes away a lot of your time, but what will you do with the time which is available? If you are not going to use that time for learning, what are you going to use that time for? And there is knowledge to be learned, there is experience to be experienced, and there is a self-reflection which needs to be done by each teacher, because our Gurush Parampara is of self-reflection. Unless you do self-reflection, you really cannot grow, because then you will identify what are the gaps in you and what is it that you need to add. And basically, what is need to be added are the new innovations, new techniques, new interventions which the teacher has to do. The teacher has to teach differently, teacher has to relate differently. Very often the students know more than the parents as well as the teachers because of their technology. And that makes them feel that they know more. So the relationship between parents and teachers, and between students and teachers, and parents and children have to change dramatically differently in the coming era to come. And if that doesn't happen, I think we are going to lose the next generation into becoming arrogant, in becoming belligerent, and not listening to anybody, for example. They think they know and they become the teacher, appeasement group. If you look at, I was really horrified when the Prime Minister, the whole government made the effort to bring the Ukraine students back. You must have seen when the students came back from the airport, from the plane, ministers were standing there with a rose in their hand. Students didn't even look at them, didn't even greet them, didn't do, ministers were doing namaste, students didn't even do namaste, they just walked past. And if they took the flower, right in the next dustbin they threw it. I think this is what is going to happen if we do not bring up our students, bring up our children to behave in a manner which is respectful, cordial, and more like a good student. The students require more discipline. You see, parents don't want to be parents, want to be friends. And the students say, we have friends, we don't want parents to be friends. We want parents to be parents. We want teachers to be teachers. See, on the first day of Flame, when the students were, I was addressing the students, I told the parents, I said, look, these are your children, and you must love them whatever way you do. But they are not my children, they are my students. And I am their teacher, and I'm running an institution. So I don't want you to come for next 3 months to Flame, because you will come and then pamper them, and उन लोग रोना धोना शुरू करेंगे because they are to a certain amount of discipline, and they will not like it and complain to you. और तुम लोग बोलोगे मेरा बच्चा, then you will say कि they don't do this. It's not possible. They are my students, and they are my, and I am their teacher, I am their principal, and I have certain norms for the institution. So parents cannot be gurus, because they just do not know how to be parents, because they just do not know how to say no, and they want to be friends, and it has happened the reverse. The parents want children to appreciate them rather than parents appreciating the children. Children don't look for appreciation from the parents, they look from their friends. So I think that dramatic changes have to be made at the family level, dramatic changes have to be made at the teachers level, students level. If the teachers have to become gurus, and real gurus who will bring out good human beings and good citizens of the country for the time to come. The times are going to be disruptive, the times are going to be turbulence, the times are going to be very, very difficult. So students will have to learn a lot many more hardships than they have ever learned before. And where teachers have to be firm, disciplined, and really transform themselves into gurus who will give them values, who will give them principles of life, how to live life, how to eat, how to drink, and how to manage their health. The amount of mental health which is occurring in the country is just nobody's business. And I'm screaming at the top of my voice. It's depression, suicides are increasing like rapidly, and I think we need to start doing something, and universities need to take some, and teachers need to take hard steps. And teachers need to exercise authority and discipline. You may be unpopular, so what? You are not teachers to be popular. You are teachers to make the students become good citizens and good human beings. And all this fancy technology will take the students far beyond their understanding. they will know the technology, but don't know the implications. And they don't know the negative consequences of those technology. And I think we need to make sure that the students learn the negative applications of these students, of these technologies which they are using. Otherwise, we will lose control of our young generation, and that would be a disaster for the country. So I hope one of the lessons, most important lessons I will tell the parents is, if the children eat good food right now, they will grow into people who will not have diseases. Because if you don't eat good food now, by 30 or 40 they will have diseases, which then it is for lifetime. So I think the parents need to manage, and that was our Indian tradition, that everything was related to food, what you eat, how much you eat, what kind of food you eat. And today we are being so driven by media, making them eat burgers, and all the time they are talking about, ads are about burgers, they are about Maggi, they are about noodles, they are about cakes, nothing about healthy about themselves. And I think it's only when they look after their health now that they will grow into later age, they will not have a problem. See, I am 83 years old, and my whole food has been very simple. The diet has been as prescribed by, and I'm still going strong. And if somebody asks me, how many years can you give? No, one university said, I would like your help, but how many years can you give? I said, 5 saal to gin lo. Pakka. 5 saal gin lo. May not be 1 year or 2 years, but 5 saal to sahi hai. So unless you have the trust in yourself, because you have taken care of your health, and that is the most important, because once you get the disease enter your body, it just doesn't want to leave it, because it likes likes your body, so it wants to stay, and you are in medication for life. And I think these children don't need to have that. I think since in our culture we have the knowledge of how to live a life healthy, I think we should do part of that training right from schools. And we've forgotten to do prayers. Children are ashamed to do prayers. I think AI will not teach you what prayers, but only parents can teach you and schools can teach you. Let me give you one example. Earlier on, when it was a child's birthday, what did we used to do in our homes? And this I'm just talking 3-4 decades earlier. We did puja, we did gave the child all the blessings. The child went to all the elders, got the blessings from the elders, then distributed food to the poor, and not to the school children with cakes and chocolates. They distributed food to the poor people, and that is what used to happen on a birthday. And the food was made which the child liked on that day in the homes. That is the way I have grown up. And I still have a habit that I have one son, but he has 2 sons. So each of their birthdays, I feed 100 poor children. I mean, unless you do something, and when they come, I send them to serve. I said, tum log jaake baato. And they said, why are you doing it? I said, why means because these children don't get food. You have so much food, you go and serve them. Unless we teach them from childhood, it doesn't work. At 25, you tell your child, do this, he won't do it. He is grown up, he has his own life, he has his own thoughts. So right from childhood, or even your grandchildren, you must start taking care of them. They become good Bharatiya citizens and not Anglo-Indians like the Americans, ABCD, American-born confused desis. Here they will become Indian-born confused desis. So we need to have our children learn from the traditions of our culture, which are very healthy and very inspiring for us to grow with. I think this is my basic janda. All the time I talk about children's health. How many young children just go into mental problems? And I think we need to take care of mental health issues. And I'm going to tell Dr. Raju Bhatia to organize a conference on mental health of children of this generation. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.